Hi there, I'm Dr. Angel, and I'm basically filming this little episode as a way of introduction as to who I am, what this site is, who God is, little things like that, because I am God's servant. I'm not His best servant, but I'm striving to be, working at it. But right now, He needs His servants to speak up and let the people know what time it is. And I'm one of His servants doing that. The name of this particular site, by the way, this particular site came into being because God told me to do it. God said, put me up a site. And I said, okay. Now, it's a funny thing about when God talks to us. God does talk to everybody. The difference between me and you is I listen. God does carry a big stick. And I've felt that big stick several times in my life. And so I've learned to listen. And of course, just being hit with that big stick ain't enough. You got to learn about God and who God is and what God is and how God works to know that it's Him hitting you with it. And why. It's interesting. It's real simple and easy to understand if somebody explains it to you, but the problem is nobody is. Anyway, continuing along here, what I want to do is I want to read the description, the site description that's here on the site. I'm experienced with people enough to know that people don't really like to read, and people get bored because I'm not going to go into why. But if it's anything lasts a long particular time without diversity, people can get bored with it. Anyway, so I want to read this to you so you don't have to read it. Anyway, the name of the site is the Intergalactic Life Abode of the Creative Source. Now, the word abode came into existence because I didn't want to use the word church because it's too limiting. I want to attract everybody to this abode, to this God's abode. Jews who won't like the word church because of the history that the Jewish people have had with Christian people. Muslims won't like it because of the history they had with Christians under the banner of Christianity. And indeed, temples, there are some Buddhists and other religions who use other terms for God's house. You know, a church is supposed to be God's house. A synagogue is supposed to be God's house. A mosque is supposed to be God's house. A temple is supposed to be God's house. So I didn't want to get bogged down with any of those, so I searched my subconscious mind and I talked to God to see if we couldn't come up with a different terminology. And it wasn't easy. It was hard. But finally, He put the word abode into my head and I said, whoa, that's it. All right. The intergalactic life means that the reason that it's termed that is because we just don't want to limit people coming to God's abode to the people here on earth. I mean, I don't want to say there are more important people in the cosmos living on other planets and other stellar systems, but there are. They're far more advanced spiritually than we are. They're far more advanced technologically than we are. And they're more advanced socially than we are. Anyway, so soon we are going to have Jesus return to us in a UFO. And when He comes, I want everybody to know that He's coming with our siblings Because just because somebody is born on another planet in a different stellar system doesn't mean they're not our siblings. They're all God's children. All of us are God's children. So, the galactic, because when God sends Jesus back to us with the great armada of UFOs, his people that comes with him, I want to come into God's abode as well with us. I want all of us to be together. It kind of reminds me of that nightclub on that spaceship, Enterprise, where all the different people from the different planets are in the bar socializing. Well, we don't want to do no drinking here, but that's kind of what I'm envisioning here. Socializing amongst all of God's children, amongst all of the intergalactic spirits, souls, lives, living entities. Now, the creative source is the balance of the title. I do cover that in my description down here. Now, reading down here it says, servant angel, that of course is me, I'm the servant. Jesus told us, don't call yourselves leaders, because even the idol worshippers have leaders. They call themselves leaders. But you don't even call yourselves teachers, because there's only one teacher. But you call yourselves servants. Now, a lot of Christian religious leaders, disliking the term servant, call themselves ministers, and they think that covers it. I don't quite agree, but who am I, right? Anyway, I call myself a reporter here because I am here to report what's happening. My beat is international affairs. I would have chosen intergalactic affairs, but YouTube didn't give me that choice. I had to choose amongst like 5 or 6 items, and international affairs seemed to be the most apropos. Okay, join September 30th, 2008. This is what I consider the birthday of this site. This is the official online abode of the creative source of the entire cosmos. Now, the cosmos is that within which everything in existence, both seen and unseen, in this dimension and all of the other dimensions as well, exists. The source is that from which everything that exists emanated. Scientists would call that the Big Bang. When all of a sudden, God exploded and the rest of us came into existence. Of course, they don't accept the term God. That's their loss. It's also their ignorance, I might add.